The artistry began, I think, as childhood.
Mm-hmm.
Watching village healers do what they do. I thought that was what health and medicine was. Then in school, you learn a lot of sciences, you learn a lot of very strict things. It helps you pass all your boards and your exams, and you can speak to anyone and you can speak to any insurance company. I think if we back up and we go, I'm three beings. I'm a body, I'm a mind, and I'm a spirit. And I need to look at what are my gifts. My body, I'm strong. I love physical activity. I'm athletic. My mind and my spirit, I love helping people. I like a challenge, and I'm good with people. So if I look at like, these are my gifts, how do I nurture them? Then I start looking around, and I'll actually adjust somebody and ask them to adjust me. If I like the way they touch me, if it feels good in my body, then I start asking them questions. Wow, where'd you learn this? What does it mean? How'd you feel when I touched you? Or when you did that to me, it felt a certain way. And so I started looking for the links. Okay. The biggest, most important thing to find your pathway is ask the questions, okay? And expose yourself. Get adjusted by as many people as you can. When you find the flavors that you like, go search them out. Because the more we allow ourselves to search those questions, those people drop in. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I got to study with some of the big guys, and it was only by kind of accident, I believe. My pathway with Sue Brown and Dr. Lou Corletto, again, that was just very interesting. I was graduated from chiropractic school, working at a high volume practice, a lot of personal injury. And it didn't resonate with my heart, but it got my hands on a lot of people. One of our fellow doctors, we used to walk like this, like she had a stick up her butt. Her sacrum was really locked, and we used to bang on that and twist it and pull it and you name it. So she disappears for a month, visits her brother. And when she comes back, she's walking normal. I said, what happened? She says, oh, this thing called network. And there's somebody around here who does this thing called network. It was Sue Brown. So I called, made an appointment. I brought a bouquet of flowers and my white jacket over my thing. I go to her office, which was the garage of what do they call it? A ranch house, not a big place. She was seeing 85 people a day out of this little space. So I'm standing against the wall because the 6 chairs were already filled up, and I'm holding my jacket and the flowers, and she comes out and she says, hi, I'm going to adjust you first before you observe me. She puts me on a table in a room with a bunch of other people. She does this little light thing, and I'm like, oh, I'm getting angry. I'm feeling all this stuff. I'm like, this is really interesting. I want her to just come in and give me a good crack and get me out of here. So all my mental jargon was coming up. She flips me over. She does the touch. She sets up my cervical, and it went from my neck to my torso to my belly all the way down. And I said, oh. I said, I've only had 2 other masters, old men masters, adjust my neck like that. And you literally ricocheted that through my whole body. I said, that C1 was amazing. She says, no, that was C2. And it did. It went from here to there. She described it down to T7, over to L1, and right down to S2. So I started to chase her information. She went from network, and then she started to discover all these other things. It began as triune, and then she turned it into, because everybody voted on a name, she calls it BGI, biogeometric integration, which is the sacred geometry of the body. And honestly, I believe it's the spirit. The more I've studied it, it's the tree of life, and it's God's breath moving through this giant matrix. And from there, I had to just keep studying it so much that I actually became one of the teachers and one of the teacher trainers, eventually one of the masters. There were only like 25 of us masters who got to train with her before she transitioned back up to heaven. And during that time, she would say to me, Katina, I want you to come adjust with me. I'm like, no, Sue, you're using all these big words. I can't teach with you. She says, no. You're doing the geometry. You just don't realize it. I'm like, I don't know. It's too heady for me. She says, adjust that person. So I put my hands on their bum and I felt whatever needed to be felt. And then my next hand to the next place. And I was just innately moving energy through this person's body. After about the third contact, she starts giggling and she says, oh, Katina, you are following such and such a pathway. And she put all the words and the numbers to it. And having studied it, I'm like, oh my goodness, you're right. I am applying the concepts of this geometry. Okay, I'll go teach with you. I don't feel so intimidated. And so from there, she also picked up Lou Corletto and myself, and the three of us became the BGI Osseous group. And Sue brought in all the wisdom and the research and all the, she was a research junkie. I mean, that woman could read a book in 2 nights.
Mhm.
And so Lou and I, she did an interesting experiment when she took us out to teach a group of people. She says, look at all of us. And we're all kind of square, squat looking people. Sue is, Lou is, I am. She says, but now listen. Who is more osseous toned and who is more tonally toned? And she had Lou and I stand on one side of the room and she stood on the other. And by asking us to listen, the side that Lou and I were sounded like this. We sounded more like a heavy group of elephants. And then when you focused on Sue, you heard a much higher vibration. That was the first time I really understood the first principle of chiropractic, which is we are built on tone.
Mhm.
It made sense to me that if the books say that God scooped up a wad of dirt, fashioned it like clay, and made this perfect thing, and blows his self into us, that's going to create perfect harmony flowing in this piece of body that we get to live in. The tones and the harmony is what we chiropractors hook the person up to. We literally connecting them back to their own innate, to their own harmony.
Mhm.
The pain, okay, that's really what it sounds like, and it feels that way.
Mhm.
So the principles of chiropractic, tone, yes, we want happy tone, we want centered tone, we want strong tone, we want a godly tone, we want a peaceful tone.
Mhm.
And it flows from above, down, inside, out.
Mhm.
In life, if it goes in and out, in and out, in and out, it's going to get very codependent.
Mhm.
And we're really not engaging in the practice of healing and integrating that person and helping them go in and connect with their source from above, down, put it back together, inside, and they shine. My joy is when I see patients walk in, they sound and they look a certain way and they're kind of crinkled. And then when they get up and they walk out and they have this happy little spry and they're quicker in their gait and their butt shakes. And I'll say to them, I says, you know, your butt is shaking so beautifully. I love it. And there's an excitement because they know that they're better. They know, they feel it. And chiropractic is one of the amazing careers where you feel it. You sense it, you feel it, you know it.
Mhm.
It's a powerful, powerful, powerful gift. I wish medical doctors would also learn to be chiropractors.
Mhm.
Um, it would marry what they do.
Mhm.
Instead of relying on blood work, they could touch the person and go, oh, they're swollen, or they're lymphatics. Oh, let's drain the head. Oh, their whole body's swollen. Boy, are you eating sugar? Are you, let's cut that down. Or, oh, your belly's bloated. Let's go after enzymatic breakdown there. Instead, we go, oh, your belly's bloated. Let's send you to a GI specialist. Chiropractic is a specialist in everything.
Mhm.
It's a specialist in innate and in every system of the body.
Mhm.
The,
Mhm.
and if you look at our career curriculum, you
Mhm.
look at medical doctors and you look at chiropractors, we take all the same scientific classes. Okay.
Mhm.
What we don't take is we take, I think, one class on drugs
Mhm.
and about 4 classes on nutrition. So that's the way we balance out our chemistry. We learn our chemistry to learn nutrition and how it applies into the cellular matrix. My medical buddies, they have to learn drugs and a number of other pathways.
Mhm.
So the curriculum is it's intense. Okay, you
Mhm.
are a doctor. To become a chiropractor, you are a doctor. You're a family practitioner. Uh, and you help people in ways that very often your patients are the throwaways. Okay, they've gone to every other kind of doctor and they still don't feel well. Then they end up on our doorstep and their lives change. It's
Mhm.
such a rewarding career. And,
Mhm.
and as a female, it's a tremendous career because you have space and time and energy to get married, to raise a family, to raise children in a healthy expression.
Mhm.
And so I can't say enough about what a wonderful career it is.